My name is Richard Vere Compton, and Alex has seen my satirical rendition of No Need for Blackouts. He was suitably inspired by it to ask me if I would re-record it for the benefit of his embryonic website. So Alex, this is for you and all your future followers. No need for blackouts, NNFBO. What is in it for me, the taxpayer voter? How about your newly elected government gives up its 5% VAT tax grab on your gas and electricity power bills and takes back 20% VAT tax spend as you all rush towards the now open door and its shining light of consumer well-being as you spend your newfound wealth. Yes, let your government make good its promise to switch quantitative easing to you, the voter, and as it does so, end the state and fear of fuel poverty by putting into law via its own white paper that would see no one will ever have to pay for hot water and central heating in their nominated domestic residence. No need for blackouts will see millions of freeholders eagerly agree to have their gardens drilled into, yes, just 100 meters deep, to collect the heat to feed a ground source heat pump. This established technology will deliver 5,000 watts of usable heat that will convert to 40 to 50 degrees C, which at sufficient volume will give, you guessed it, free hot water and free central heating. Energy-efficient ground source heat pumps, if rolled out to millions of freeholders, would represent a new gas field which would supply 20% of all the gas needed by Great Britain PLC for now and well into the future. The reason one says it's 20% new gas, because ground source heat pumps are a far more efficient way of using the existing gas than combusting it. We are all in this together. Our government will now ask all the freeholders to surrender their millions of roofs so that millions of people who have no work can climb all over them as they install tarpaulins that have cheap Chinese electrical generating solar cells woven into their fabric. All this abundant new green power will meet up with the sometimes oversupply of power from wind turbines, and all this extra thousands of megawatts can now be consumed not by the national grid, but only using the grid as a short hop and skip to energy-hungry air cryogenic liquefaction plants. By cryogenic, I mean putting huge amounts of electrical energy to get the air down to minus 220 degrees C. The said plants will now drop out, even at parts per million per volume, heavy metal of mercury, liquid helium, and liquid hydrogen. The liquid hydrogen is very important, for it will be of a very high purity, which could go straight into the hydrogen fuel cell. Everybody has said there is now critical mass of all the kit and equipment to mass produce hydrogen fuel cells, but nobody has addressed the fact as to where hydrogen is coming from. In this paper, No Need for Blackouts, I have just delivered to you purest hydrogen by liquefying the air. So this will definitely kickstart the new hydrogen economy. Now you blend 22.5% liquid oxygen, which you've also dropped out in the liquefaction process, with 77.5% liquid nitrogen, which has also come from liquefying the air, and you have a new green fuel called liquid air, cryogenic liquid air. Energy in must always be energy out, less losses. Remember, we had all this green energy that was not in the grid, and we've sunk it into a black hole of cryogenic air liquefaction plants. So as we've wasted this energy to get our pure hydrogen and our liquefied air, we've created vast amounts of heat. This heat will go into sodium rock crystals, which are reinforced with a matrix of pipe to act as a vast heat exchanger. Then, when you need grid electrical power, you just pump your new green liquefied air through the pipes, which reverts to a gas with enough power to drive a turbine. The jury is still out as to how many cryogenic air liquefaction plants you need to provide the power to drive one other. Yes, you're actually making fuel in 2 air liquefaction plants, which will then drive a third one. The one product not in the above list is liquid CO2. As a liquid, it has a high value in the hydrocarbon industry. For instance, all the container ships are now using liquid or gaseous CO2 in replace of helium, in replace of another gas which sucks the nitrogen, so it's very dangerous, halon. Halon is the gas that liquid CO2 will now replace. So there is a vast market for liquid CO2. Now you will consider that the rollout of hundreds of thousands of cryogenic air liquefaction plant, which has converted Great Britain PLC into an energy-efficient nation to such an extent we can use the old liquid petroleum gas tankers to export our surplus cryogenic liquefied air to others who have not yet built their own plants. Historians will say that fracking was just a flash in the pan, for none should speak its name. I, Richard Vere Compton, own the copyright to the above, and it was copyrighted on the 26th of the 9th, 2013. And thanks to Alex, it is now on his website. I look forward to many, many comments and people starting to lobby for cryogenic air liquefaction plants by using all the green energy. It is a sobering thought that if the United Nations passed an edict that all the green energy generated would not be fed into a grid for consumer consumption, be it consumer or industry, but fed into hundreds of thousands of cryogenic air liquefaction plants. Do you realize, when I'm reading this, the shiver should run down your spine? For within 25 years of a mass rollout of cryogenic air liquefaction plants, we would never, repeat, never burn another hydrocarbon on this planet, and we would have removed trillions of tons of liquid CO2. Yes, to you, the listener, this is looked upon, as far as I am concerned, as the person who conceived the idea, as manna from heaven. You must now take what I have read to you and spread the gospel so that we, the masses, can lobby those people who have dominion over us to roll this out on a global basis. There are many other spin-offs from this technology which will go on to prove that the intellect of mankind is far higher than that of the orangutan. Thank you very much indeed for listening and watching. Goodbye.